Today I'm going to show you how to make fast-moving GIFs on Photoshop that create a sort of 3D effect. So I have two images here that are from just slightly different angles. They're quite offset from one another, but we can correct that later. And these are the two that we're going to use. So if you drag the first one into Photoshop, and then your second image on top of that. The first thing we have to do is make sure they line up properly. So I'm going to change the blending mode on this to subtract, and then you can kind of see, you want it to be as dark as possible. So you can kind of see where they add up, and then you can see exactly what would have them overlaying each other. The thing that we want to be in the middle of the blackest is kind of this area, because that will be the pivot point, if you will. Right, I think that looks okay. Have a look what that looks like on normal. Yeah, if we just shift between those two, you can see that they're aligned now, which is nice. I'm going to crop the image because when this is visible, we get a border where we've moved it. I'm just going to crop it to, I think, about there. Now you can see the difference when we just remove the layers. Yeah, it's useful to have your photos at a similar sort of tone so that it doesn't change a lot when you're flicking between them. Right, what you need now is the animation pane. You can find this by going to Window Animations if it's not already there, and it should show up at the bottom. So that's the first frame with both of them there, and we're going to make a second frame without the second one. I'm just going to select these and change the speed to 0.1 seconds, and now we can quick play and see that happen. It looks kind of weird and it feels too fast, so I'm going to slow that down a bit. Yeah. The other thing I want to do is to make that transition between the two frames a bit smoother, because they are quite different. It's better if your images are just slightly off to create this effect. But I'm going to make two other frames between these two different frames with the upper layer at a 50% opacity, like so, because then there'll just be a smoother transition between them. Make another one here with 50%. And these are just transitory frames, so they can be quite fast. Now let's see. They still seem like they're there for too long. It's awkward if they're there for too long because it's very obvious. That looks nice. I like that effect. It's just running for about the right amount of time. Yeah, it's good to have less than 0.2 seconds per sort of frame, and we've got 0.14 and 0.04, which makes a very nice effect, and that's how you make an animated GIF in Photoshop. The thing that you have to do though is you can't just file save as, because that won't export it as a proper GIF. You have to click on File, Save for Web and Devices. I'm just going to struggle with this because these are very large images. We should have reduced them before, but if we put them down to say 800 pixels wide, and then you can change all the effects here, like Lucy lowers the quality. Quite a lot of these, you have to play around with these to find the right settings, but mostly what you'll be doing, if you're trying to upload it to a website, for example, you'll be focusing on this number down here, and now it's under a megabyte, which is what you want for GIFs on the internet, really, and you can see what it's like by just playing here. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and then it'll be in your folder. And now you see, if we open that in the browser, you can see the GIF working. This effect is really cool for just adding some dynamism to holiday photos, especially when there's a group picture involved and a background that at different focal distances from the camera. It creates some really dynamic effects.